winning is crazy. Your opportunity. Things have changed a lot last year, and they are going to change even more the following months and years in terms of content marketing. With this explosion of AI, the one-to-one, the touch in person is more important now than ever, and being in in-person events, it's also a really big opportunity to make the difference. With the idea that this can happen, maybe one day one of your channels will not work as well as it did before, so you have to pivot to other things. You can not only rely on content, on blog content, on articles content, you have to try to produce other pieces and other kind of content. You want a post and I want 10 buyers for tomorrow. And it doesn't work like that. You can achieve a lot with marketing, but you need consistency and time.
Hello and welcome to the WeMarketers Podcast. I'm Andrew and I'm happy to have for the second time on this podcast Albert Mercadé, a marketing manager at talentup.io. Albert, happy to have you today.
Hello, Andrew. Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here again.
Amazing. And we caught up with Albert a couple of weeks ago. We touched very interesting question. The problems that content marketers face now in regards of AI. And let's dive straight in. So my question to you is, what is the biggest challenge right now you see in terms of content marketing for you in your job right now?
Well, I think I don't impress anyone if I say that things have changed a lot last year, and they are going to change even more the following months and years in terms of content marketing. To put things in perspective, a few years ago, everyone was pushing to be in the first position in Google, in other searches, and that was the competition, to be there. And people start working very hard to be there. But lately, the game has changed a lot with the appearance of really strong competitors involving AI. Before, the competition was extreme, but now it's ridiculous. Now it's super massive because a lot of people have the ability to produce massive content. So the game really have changed. So you are not competing with a lot of content. You are competing with massive content. It's now more difficult than ever to make content that finally arrive to the right audience, because there is a lot of noise. And also there is a big problem that I'm sure that a lot of marketers around the globe have feel, that visits that content drive to less conversions because of the search AI engines, because Google, ChatGPT gives information, and maybe, of course, they cite information, but in a really low level. You have to make an effort to see where this information comes from. So these kind of engines, even Google, are moving to that direction, to take content, but don't give the proper credit to this content. So we are fighting against that. We are very focused, all of marketers, to appear in this kind of searches on Google AI search, on ChatGPT, on Perplexity. We really want to appear that in those searches, but at the same time, this search, the appearing to these searches is not the same. Will not have the same impact that appearing a few years ago in Google search, because this kind of information will not lead customers to your site, and that is a big issue. Yeah.
But if we talk about this decline in visibility on Google search, what does it mean in your particular case? Did you measure this?
Yes, we've seen a decline of long search tail appearances, but at the same time, we try to move all these new users to the platform in another kind of searches. pointing to those people that were interested in really particular information that we only have. So we try to do really specific content, super long tail, to try to keep going. And what I saw is that, for instance, we made a lot of blog content with talking about the different topics related to HR. I see this content didn't work so well this last few months, and I seen a decline in this type of content. We have to move really fast to content that really resonates and that we can escalate confidently. So you have to use really niche content to really try to differentiate from your competitors, and then have a chance to position it and to impact the searches. Yeah.
And it's all about using alternative channels, right? In your particular case, how do you deliver this content that you create? Because over relying, I would say, on Google search now, it can be dangerous in the long-term perspective. So what's your approach to using alternative channels?
Sure, of course. So we are going back to old school, to basics. That is face to face, talking to people, trying to build strong relationships, so we can communicate better and see what they are looking for and want for the or expect from talent app, and then work with them. I will say that with this explosion of AI. The one-to-one, the touch in person is more important now than ever, and being in person events, it's also a really big opportunity to make the difference.
Yeah, I can fully relate because now what we see that the more and more companies they start utilize events as one of the main driving channels of leads. But it's not only about leads, but it's also about building trust and relationships. But if we get back to AI, do you optimize your content differently? Given the expansion of AI to make sure that it is visible on AI search?
Sure. So AI is, as far as I see, as far as I understand, AI has been trained to read the content how it was done a few months ago, a few years ago. So these AI engines can search the information in a really good way as the information is up now. But yes, we've been putting the information in a more clearly way in SEO terms. So AI and other engines can take the information answering very particular questions about our content. So I will say yes, we try to even adapt more to make things easier to be understand by AI engines. In terms of SEO, this have been done with the frequently asked questions in the code, and having a clear structure of the pages that we have. Yes, we've been doing this work, but I will say that you have to put a more focus on this kind of strategies if you want to be relevant for these engines, and if you facilitate the information to be scraped or to be seen by these engines, it will be good for the appearances and the impact of this content.
Yeah, I fully agree, especially with the questions. You just go to ChatGPT, let's say, and ask, give me 20 questions about what our potential customers are, what worry them, and you get all these questions and you create content around these, and you can cluster this around different aspects like pricing, like contracts, whatever is related to working with the clients, and you have enormous amount of questions, and you create the whole content calendar around this. Of course, not you're building content not only around this, but this becomes a great basis for you to proceed with the content strategy.
Yeah, the way that users are searching for answers, it's really different now than it was back a few years ago. When you look for something in Google a few years ago, you only put like 2 or 3 keywords really about what where you were looking for. But now in the search engine, people relies on doing more question related phrases like how much I will earn if I search a job as a software developer in Barcelona, for saying an example. No, but if you want this information, this kind of information, a few years ago, you will not put this in Google. No one puts this in Google. People put software developer salaries in Barcelona. You were thinking in a question, but you don't put it in the engine. And now people put the whole question with very specific demands. Okay, I have 4 years of experience. I also put this in the question to give the search more information, so the answer can be more accurate, and that is where you can make the difference. Putting this kind of questions in your content with really specific information, and yeah, that's a game now.
And in terms of content formats, do you still rely mainly on blog posts on your website, or you also create something different that work in nowadays?
So we don't rely ever much on the blog. The blog was a really nice tool, and I think it's already a nice tool to be in contact with our subscribers, to put relevant content out there that you want to write. But yes, the effectivity of the blog have had a slowdown. But our main focus always have been our reports. We produce free resources, high quality free resources that are very well known in our niche, in our community, and we are working. We have been working in this like for several years now. So we make a space for us there, and people know our free salary benchmarks. So we put our effort on this. We not always. Be focused on our blog. We try to open different channels. I keep working on them, trying to learn from them, so we can improve it. With the idea that this can happen. Maybe one day one of your channels will not work as well as it did before, so you have to pivot to other things. But our focus right now, I will say that is this kind of content, the free resources, high quality free resources that we can produce because we have this kind of information and is our work. Other marketers, they should see or look what they can produce that it's high quality for their niche, how they can differentiate. But I will say that you can not only rely on content, on blog content, on articles content. You have to try to produce other pieces and other kind of content. We also have a free salaries, free companies type of content that it can be escalated really well. And we also rely a lot of that is content that is produced by the platform, I will say, and that kind of content really works well also, and it's not blog content.
I'm subscribed to your newsletter, and overall I follow your activities on LinkedIn, and from what I see, you're doing a great job in building the whole content ecosystem, not only producing some specific content piece, but overall I can see your email with the newsletter, right, from your company. I can see reports sharing on LinkedIn. I see the other stuff. What's your approach to building the whole content ecosystem and making sure that content engine is actually running?
Sure. I like a lot the word that you use, ecosystem, because at the end is this. So we try to open different channels, but at the same time, all these channels, we try to be connected. So, for instance, the reports that we launch with salary information for HR or even for workers that are interested in salaries, this kind of reports, we keep updating every year. We launch a different report, and people are already expecting these reports. We are more or less, we launch it at the same time every year. And when we launch it by LinkedIn, but we also launch it in our newsletter that we send weekly. And after the launch, when you can access to the reports from our web, but also you can access the reports from our newsletter. So our subscribers are continuously seeing these reports, and also if they don't remember or they we are not in their radar, they tell, hey, I just downloaded a report that was very interesting 6 months ago, but I don't remember. And then we appear in their inbox with the report that is already there. I see that some people download a report several times because they download it one time, they forget it maybe, and then they download it 2 months ago, and they download it again when they receive the newsletter. So we try to be always there. When we get one subscriber, we get one customer, we try to be there, providing useful information so they can stay with us and appreciate the work that we do.
Yeah, and I know that you already have a lot of subscribers for your newsletter, and overall building the whole community around content that you create. You really do a great job around this. How do you make sure that people who get into your content funnel, they eventually become your customers? Because apparently this is a goal, right?
Sure. So this is very, very difficult to do. So it will be amazing that all the subscribers at the end
Yeah,
will
yeah.
be pro customers. So a lot of subscribers of the newsletter, for instance, or the people that download the report, has been a truly convert to a customer. But at the end, it's really difficult to tell that every person that subscribes to the newsletter will be a customer. We actually try to. We're not very pushy. We are trying to really produce meaningful content and meaningful products that really resonate with the audience, so they can buy if they want. But the goal of the newsletter and all of the marketing actions, of course, that at the end is that end reaching potential customers that end buying our solution. But at the end, also is a way to generate this mass of people that follows Talent App, that knows Talent App, that can recommend Talent App to other people. That when you produce content, when you produce a newsletter, sometimes it's really difficult to see the return. How many people have impacted this newsletter? But sometimes when a new customer arrive, I follow I search where this customer comes, and you see that it's a subscriber that starts at our newsletter 6 months ago, downloaded one report 3 months ago, then receive it one Friday or newsletter, download the report again, and then buys our solution. And you see that it's a person that started with us like 6 months ago and buy the newsletter. The solution, the Talent App solution, 6 months later.
And it's very uplifting, right, for us as a marketers to see that people eventually landed as a clients out
Yes.
of all these activities. Yeah, yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
it's really rewarding. See that the actions that you made work at the end.
Yeah, but interesting. What it looks, what a consensus on general view on marketing inside your team look like? Is marketing for you more like a way to generate awareness, or it's more viewed like a client machine?
So for me, marketing always will be you have to generate money. You
Yeah,
have to.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Of course, there is a lot of ways to achieve that.
Mhm.
And you have to generate customers through marketing actions. Of course, it's really important to gain awareness. But if I tell a marketer, what do you want? 1,000 visitors to your web, or you
Mm.
want 10 buyers to your web. So 10 people that arrive to your web and buy the
Yeah,
product. You want the
yeah,
10 buyers. You don't care about. Uh, I think that marketing sometimes lost itself in the numbers. I want like a lot of views to my content. I want a lot of people in my website. I want to arrive to a lot of people with my LinkedIn campaigns, but maybe that is not your goal in the most cases. Your goal is to arrive to the right people at the right time that want your product, or that you can help with your information or your product, so maybe one day they can be your customers. So I will say that my view from marketing is to engage with potential customers, that you can provide them value, and at the end they can be your customers and pay for the solution that you are working on. In and yeah, that's it. Of course, awareness, it's a little piece of all this ecosystem, of all this marketing machine, but it's a little piece.
yeah. It's very interesting because I've just had the management team meeting inside our company, and Adrian, our CEO, he shared that we've just received very good lead, potentially interested in our services. And I asked, just curious, from where did they know about us? And he said, oh, they attended one of the previous events. And I wanted to specify like which kind of event, and he said they have no idea. Like they just attended maybe years ago, who knows. And the tricky thing is to measure all this effectiveness of these activities.
Yes, it's really hard, but you can see it in you, because when this start to happen, you see it in a lot of user cases that he come from the newsletter. It was a
Yeah, yeah,
subscriber. You meet them in that event, and you see the machine is going. But this took a lot of time and effort. I will say you have to be consistent. So you make an amazing events in Netherlands and another countries, right? But you don't just do one event. You've been doing for several years. You are been improving, and then the machine is working, and you can get this kind of leads, this kind of wins. The same happens with the talent newsletter. You have to have the confidence of the management that you can achieve the results if they support marketing actions. Because I feel that in marketing areas sometimes there is a lot of misunderstanding of the marketing value and mission, and they want like super fast results. And no,
yeah.
I want a post, and I want 10 buyers for tomorrow, and it doesn't work like that. You can achieve a lot with marketing, but you need consistency and time.
If we look a little bit into the future, for example, till the end of this year, 2026, what's your main activities, maybe some tests, some strategies that you want to implement to make sure that your content gets constant visibility and, more importantly, drive new prospects?
So, from my particular market, I will say for me it's really important, and I will say also for companies like Maxer and others, the new pay transparency law. So we will
Mm,
adding a lot of our content and web and even the product to this kind of law that will bring a lot of customers. But in terms of marketing, I will say that I want to potentiate more from the person events, be in more person events and face-to-face events where we can actually meet our customers and try to improve partnerships with other players. So the most important thing for me this year is to work with persons and not to work for AI, because uh, I think you can put an effort there, but you have to focus also in other things. And as we were talking at the beginning, I think the game changer for these next years will be also have a strong presence offline, be
Hmm.
offline and talk with people and be in events and have and know how to move there, not only on the web or not only on AI engines. One thing that it really actually scares me and have me keep thinking this last few months is the AI. This kind of browsers and
Hmm.
AI that also can perform searches and actions through the web. We will have to be very, very careful as marketers how this is evolved, but because now a lot of the internet content is made by AI. But what will be happen for our companies, for our content, if also all the internet traffic or a lot of the internet traffic is driven by agents, AI agents?
Hmm.
It will also change a lot how we produce content and understand content, because if it's not made by persons for persons, it's made
Hmm.
by AI for AI.
For AI.
Yeah, it will be well, we will have to see how it evolves.
If you want more in-person interactions, come to Amsterdam to TRC on November 5.
We will see if we can make
Yeah. It, Albert, thank you so much for joining this episode. I hope that all these efforts that you put into content will transform into real results. I wish this to you, and I also wish this for everyone who is working on the content, including myself. So we get really great results out of this. Thank you for joining, and bye bye.
Thank you, Andrew. Bye bye.
Winning is great. Your opportunity, your opportunity.